Gately for TheShowBuzz.com. I'm here with Buckcherry's guitarist, Keith Nelson. Keith, what brings you to New York?
We have a show on Thursday at the Webster Hall, and we're also going to be having our gold record ceremony here in town as well.
Yeah, we were talking before the interview. You've got some big news. Your album 15 just went gold.
Finally, yeah, over 500,000 copies here in the United States, and no end in sight for us as far as touring goes. So,
quickly tell me how Buckcherry formed.
I met Josh, the singer, in probably 1995, through a mutual friend of ours who's a tattoo artist, and we started writing songs in, oddly enough, his spare bedroom with a 4-track cassette recorder, and put a band together, started playing shows, got a record deal.
You've said from early on, you and Josh knew that you were onto something.
Yeah, because at the time when we were coming up, there weren't a lot of bands that were making straight up rock and roll, and we were kind of derided for that in the clubs in LA. It was hard to get shows, and when we did get gigs, I think that there's the story about some people laughing at us when we played this famous punk rock club in downtown LA. So that's kind of when we were like, wow, this is really different than what's going on, and we're probably onto something. We should keep doing it.
What were your expectations before you started the band in 1996? Did you think you would achieve gold status within a couple years?
I don't think that was really something that was on the forefront of our minds. I think we were just trying to be in a band that wouldn't break up with guys that thought the same way, that were into the same kind of music, because it was so different from what was going on in the music industry at that time. So that was really the only goal, was to, actually make a record.
I know at the time, in the late 90s or kind of early 2000, there was a lot of rap rock.
Right.
Did you want to bring back true rock and roll? Was that your goal?
I just think we wanted to make the music that was very sincere to what we felt, instead of following trends. We really didn't pay any attention to what was going on, what was popular. We just made the music that we wanted to make. And some people said we were 7 years too early, and some people said we were 15 years too late. Yeah. But we were just making our music. So.
What was it like after your first big single lit up the charts?
Right.
I'm sure it must have been a great moment for you guys.
I mean, it was awesome. We got to tour with so many of our idols. We've toured with AC/DC and Aerosmith and Kiss and Lenny Kravitz. So it brought us opportunities that we never would have had otherwise. We reached a really big fan base. We've been all over the world a couple of times.
Crazy Bitch has it's your latest single off of 15. There's been a little controversy surrounding the lyrics and the music video.
Right.
Can you talk to me about that?
Well, no. Actually, I don't really want to say too much about it, except that we never really thought that song was a single. We had done the video and put the song on the internet just as a reintroduction to the band, since we'd taken some time off. And the fan demand generated, the #1 most requested song on a lot of satellite radio stations, and then terrestrial radio stations started to request an edited version of that song. And we were actually ready to go with a different song as the first single, and it really just took off on its own.
There's always been one Buckcherry, but you've gone through some changes.
Right.
I know the band broke up in 2002. What happened there?
I mean, I think there's a lot of reasons that go into a band breaking up, just as there are a lot of reasons why a band is successful. So we really couldn't really pinpoint one reason. The people that we were in business with, the personality clashes of the members of the band, a lot of things go into play. It was just time. At a certain point, it was just time for a break.
How'd you come together?
I'd went through some stuff in my personal life, and Josh picked up the phone and called me, and we started talking as friends. We hadn't really had a lot of contact over the last few years, and as a result of those conversations, sooner or later it became, why don't we get in a room and make some music and see what happens? And yeah. And then it really just snowballed from there. It was so natural the way it progressed that, he and I have a chemistry together musically and personally that is really hard to come by in this business, and I think we both recognize it and have a greater appreciation for it now.
Fans who haven't seen you perform live, what can they expect to see on this tour?
Well, I mean, we've always prided ourselves on our live show. I think that you're going to see 5 guys that really get off on making the music together. There's no drum loops. There's nothing on tape. It's, you know, it's the true essence of a live rock and roll band.
This Thursday is your big celebration.
Yeah.
What are your plans?
Just to enjoy every moment, because it'll be gone quick and I'll be back on the road in another city. I think Detroit the next night, so there's not a lot of time to sit back and, you know, sit around and pat yourself on the back. We got to get back to work.
Keith Nelson here on TheShowBuzz.com. One final question. Who do you like out there in the rock and roll scene?
I love My Chemical Romance. I think they're great. 18 Visions is a band that we've done some shows with that I think they're awesome. There's a new band called Blackstone Cherry that we actually had out on tour with us. They're from Kentucky. They're great. You know, there's a lot of great music out there if you're willing to search for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Keith Nelson joining us on TheShowBuzz.com. The album is 15. It's in stores, just won gold. And we look forward to hearing from you again.
Thanks,
Keith.
man.